one's an interesting one. This is a vehicle that nobody needs, but I love it. This is the Dodge Durango Hellcat. Yes, FCA continues to Hellcat everything in an age when you would think they'd be worrying about their CAFE ratings, but no, apparently it doesn't matter, because what we have here is a supercharged 7-passenger SUV. The supercharging part isn't the crazy bit. It's that the supercharger sits on top of a 6.2-liter V8 engine, the same engine that you would find in the Challenger, the Charger, the TRX, what else? Soon the Pacifica, I'm sure, and a bunch of other stuff. Are you already waving to the camera over there? Okay. You realize now that the camera's on, don't you? All right. So this was, and the Jeep, excuse me, the Trackhawk. This was, as Agent Smith might say, inevitable. There's a deep cut for you. So does this powertrain make sense in this vehicle? We'll get to that in a second. First, I want to back up and talk about the exterior styling, because you can easily tell on the outside that this is a Durango. I mean, there's no question. It's giant, it's Durango shaped, it says Durango, it's a Durango. But it's more subtle than all of the other Hellcat options out there, with, the possible exception of the Jeep. Those are the two sort of sleeper-ish by nature of the Hellcat family vehicles. The T-Rex is probably the wildest one now of the family. And then the Challenger and the Charger are just kind of like, you know what you're in for with those. But this looks like a Durango with some extra badging. And then you can see the red brake calipers poking out. And that's kind of it. And I love it. This thing is a modern production car sleeper in all senses of the word. This blue paint is fantastic. I like that the wheels aren't over the top, though, some bronze Hellcat wheels might be cool as an option at the same time. They could be an option, I don't know. I didn't do any research. Why would I? But as it sits, if I were to buy one of these, I would pop all the badges off and run it as is. Maybe get one in all black and just have a vehicle that can smoke most other cars on the road, and that's crazy. Now on the inside, it's comfortable. It has traditional Hellcat-like seats with Hellcat stitching. Sloan, are you comfortable? Good. So there's 2 captain's chairs in the second row, and then there's 3 more seats in the third row. We have them folded down right now, so for more cargo room. But the seat is comfortable. If you've driven any sort of Hellcatified vehicle, the steering wheel is familiar, the seats are familiar. I like the updated infotainment screen here. This is a really nice, crisp screen that looks good, works well, it's responsive, the latest Uconnect and all that good stuff. So inside the cabin, it's nice. There's new switchgear to access the SRT pages, and those are more responsive. Normally in the past, you would hit the SRT button and it would take forever to load the SRT performance pages. It doesn't do that anymore. They load right away, and you can easily hit this button to get to the different driving modes. I have it in a custom driving mode. That'll pop up here. So basically everything in track except the suspension in street for a little bit more cushy of a ride. So, big paddles right here, easy to reach. Right behind the paddles on your left hand is a volume to turn to change the track, and on your right hand you can turn the audio up and down. Then there's 2 buttons in there if you want to change the source type and all that good stuff. There are still physical buttons for the volume, for the HVAC stuff, for the heated and cooled seats, the heated steering wheel. There's a button right here that says launch for launch control, which is ridiculous. Traction control, it's easily turned off right there as well. And then the rest of this stuff is in this menu. It does wireless CarPlay seamlessly. It's all latest and greatest tech, and it works well. But what also works well, hold on, is that engine. Because that 6.2-liter V8 with the supercharger is making 710 horsepower and 640 pound-feet of torque, sending that power through a tried and true 8-speed gearbox out to all 4 wheels. Not rear-wheel drive, 4 wheels, which means this thing rips off the line. Absolutely rips. I think Car and Driver tested one of these on a 0 to 60 run in 3.6 seconds. It is a few tenths of a second slower to 60 than the new GT500 the Shelby GT500. This is a 7-passenger heavy SUV, and it can go 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. Absolutely bananas, right? This thing is crazy. Massive brakes. I think they're 15-inch rotors up front. The steering feel is good. I think the tires at each corner are 295s on 20s. You got to clear those big brakes. But the suspension is adjustable. It has more grip than it has any right to have. You can come out of corners very quickly. It's not going to set lap records at your track, but as soon as you get on the straights, everything else is gone. I mean, you don't be that guy, hold everybody up in the corners and then blow them away on the straights. That's no fun. But still, that's not what this is about. This is like a muscle car Grand Tourer fam. I don't even know what to describe this. This is a class of its own. It's wicked and wild and awesome all at the same time. The world doesn't need one of these. I love that it exists. That's basically Chrysler's motto these days, FCA's motto these days. We don't need you to have one of these, but you know what? Here we go. We're going to offer you one of these. So let's have a good time. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. That's FCA's motto. This is a modern day muscle car, no question. It's big, it's comfortable, it's crazy powerful, it's crazy fast, and it is loud as heck when you stomp on the pedal. The supercharger whine takes over, and it is super duper screamo party time. Now, I do think the 392, the other SRT Durango with a mere 485 horsepower, sounds better. I do think that engine sounds better. I love the supercharger whine, but it takes over the oral sensations that this car has to offer. It's very Mad Max. I love it. I wouldn't give it up. I would want the 710 horsepower version, but the 392 does sound a bit better. Now this has different driving modes. I just said you could adjust them in sport. So the standard torque split is 40-60, 60 to the rear. If you put it into snow, it does a 50-50 split. Sport does 35-65, and then track does 30-70, so even more to the rear, which is great. I don't want to try to drift this at all. I mean, if I was on a racetrack, I'd give it a go, not here on a canyon road with my daughter in the car. Not a chance I'm going to try to do that. But this car is an absolute blast to drive. It sounds hilarious. The supercharger whine does not get old. The sound system sounds great if you want to pump the music. I'm assuming this has one of the better Harman Kardon sound systems in it, but I'm not for sure on that. I'm going to have to double check that one. I do know, though, that it is not cheap. The base price of these is around $82,000. This one, as tested, probably has a few bells and whistles, and is probably sitting at around $90,000, which is, I mean, it's a lot of money. But who's to say it's not worth it? Because where else are you going to find a 7-passenger SUV that's comfortable, has a warranty, launch control, and 710 horsepower, and it is nearly as fast as the GT500 in a straight line? And it's definitely not terrible in the corners, which is just the most shocking thing ever. Absolutely mind-bending, physics-breaking machine. Way cooler than any X5M, nearly cooler, or I mean, the AMG stuff makes wicked noises. So I think this is better though, because it's far less expected. If you see a Mercedes with some bulging fenders, like, oh, okay. But if you just see a Durango, you're not expecting thunder, the god of thunder, to break forth from the engine himself and shout you into another dimension. So, to sum up on the Durango Hellcat, if you have the means and you need a fun daily driver to supplement your other awesome toys, because I'm assuming this isn't your only vehicle, but if it is, more power to you, and it can absolutely be a single, if you only have room for one in your garage, this is a great choice. Buy it, take the badges off, have a blast, put a big smile on your face, and you're gonna spend a lot in fuel. I think I'm averaging 8 miles per gallon, and I haven't even really been romping on it. with like occasional bursts here and there. It's absolutely insane, but it is way more useful than any Charger or Challenger. It's more useful than the Jeep, just because it has more room. If someone told me I need you to get to Vegas tonight and I need you to bring 3 people and I want them to arrive there quickly and comfortably, there's no doubt in my mind what I'm picking. It's this. It's this all the way. And, maybe I'll hire a spotter to watch the highway for me, because, man, this thing is good. This thing is special. And this is part of the last. This is part of the last gasp of the combustion engine, probably. I mean, I don't see where we're going higher from here without the introduction of more electrification into things. I'm okay with that. I can welcome more electrified bits in the future. I love the Porsche Taycan that I drove. But if it's gonna go out, FCA's going out screaming, and you know what? More power to you, Stellantis. I'm glad this vehicle has no Stellantis badging on it. That would make it less cool. Even more reason to take all the badges off. As it sits, grab the paddles. Oh my God, come on, are you kidding me with that? Are you kidding me with that noise? Is Daddy going a little over the top? No, not over the top? All right, great. Sloan, do you like this car? What do you like about it? You said the steering wheel on the last car. Why do you like the steering wheel? Because it's what you can see? Okay. Do you like when it goes fast? Do you like when it gets loud? All right, high five. Boom, there we go. What do you think of the car? I love it. You love it? What should everybody watching this channel do? Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Can I have a high five? Yay, using children to exploit your emotions. Woo!